Welcome to sports. Well, do we even have me in there? I'm looking at the Sports Talking Sports banner. I don't see me on there yet. Oh, here we go. We had a little technical difficulties. Tony got it all worked out. Everybody, happy Wednesday and welcome to Sports Talking Sports. I'm your host, L. Steven Swartz, but you can call me Les. All of you out there, you know my name. You hit me up with Les. So listen, guys, kind of a theme show tonight. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people out there. But before we start tonight's show, we've got to salute our hometown UNCW Seahawks men's basketball team. They captured the CAA tournament last night, beating the Delaware Blue Hens 76-72. They're off to the NCAA men's basketball tournament, which starts on the 20th, I believe, next Thursday. We'll see what the seedings look like on Sunday and who they play. By the way, just got a confirmation. We will have CAA Commissioner Joe D'Antonio on next week to talk about the UNCW game and who they're going to be playing. So that's going to be interesting. And I also got some great video here, courtesy of Mike Vaccaro. He's been a guest on the show. He's Mike Vaccaro from In the Front Row. So we're going to have Tony run some of the video of that exciting UNCW big victory last night over the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. So if Tony can run that for us, and then we'll bring on tonight's first guest.
Two hits for three. Two-star, two-way player in the G League these days. Williams free, left. Riojas, 7 foot, 280 pounds, and Camden. Newby gets some space and hits. And his opposite hand regains. Never got to the rim. Newby hits the three. Lost 11 of 12 into the championship game. Montgomery free for three. Hutch McGriff. The lefty spins. The lefty scores. Big fella. Here's Ross. Bumps Pimco. Tough baseline shot for Noah Ross. Hodge. Back for Newby. 10 on the timer. Big three airborne. Got it. Moments. Tries a three. It's off. Williams the rebound. There's the horn. That's it. The Seahawks soar into the NCAA tournament. UNCW wins the 2025 CAA Basketball Championship.
Again, congratulations to the UNCW Seahawks and Coach Siddle and crew. Fantastic. And from in the front row with Mike Vaccaro for that in CBS Sports as well. Thank you so much. So we're going to have a good one tonight, folks. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Before we bring on tonight's first guest, I want to bring on my special co-host tonight, No Al Chester. He's taking a week off. He's doing Florida A&M basketball games in the SWAC tournament. And Benny the Book is just off the golf course, even though it's dark. He's always on the golf course. Let me bring in tonight's special guest, my wrestling insider, all the way from Boston, Massachusetts, by way of Easton, Stuart Kaplan. Stu.
Hey, Les, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. This is going to be a good one tonight.
So great to be back. I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Hey, man, you're my wrestling insider. So before we bring on tonight's first guest, let's show the people out there a little taste of what they may get tonight. In that interview, he even got me hyped up at the end of that, Stu. I was ready to jump through the TV screen.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You could tell a little bit. Well, let's bring on, listen, he's the 3-time WWF Tag Team Champion. He wrestled in the biggest wrestling events, WrestleMania 10 and 14. He's been Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, World Champion, and we're going to talk a little bit about his relationship with the North Carolina Wrestling Association, which yours truly is now the voice of. Let's bring on our man from Montreal, PCO. PCO.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Thanks.
How are you?
How's the weather up there? Is it cold?
Weather's good. You know, weather, it doesn't matter because Canada won the Four-Nation Championship.
Oh man, we're gonna start that again. When you get down to the States, you and I we're gonna duke it. No, I'm only kidding you. But hey, you don't leave McJesus alone in the slot, am I right?
That was a good one, huh?
Oh man, it was, 99 out of 100. He's gonna score.
Of a second. You don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I want to get your take. Listen, we're going to get into everything wrestling, and Stu's going to jump in with some really good questions. But what do you make of Canada USA? 9 seconds in, there's 3 fights. I mean, did that set the tone or what?
It was incredible. I mean, my jaw dropped because we're not used when it's international hockey. It was under the NHL rules. So I didn't think about that. I was thinking this is an international tournament like the IHF. So I thought, they weren't allowed to fight. And then it reminds me of Slapshot with the Kachuk brothers, the Hensons.
Exactly. It spiced things up a little bit, didn't it?
It was great. It made this is the highest buy rate, not buy rate, but the highest ratings, I think, on ESPN. Hockey, who would thought, 20 million people would watch hockey. I mean, we've been watching it for a long time. Right. But it's been popular in the States only since maybe 2010, 2015. I remember 1992, 93. Nobody knew, I was talking about a hockey team. Nobody knew that many players, Hey, listen, 1993. Now everybody knows everybody. Everybody is in a fantasy league. Everybody's doing something about hockey,
Well, PCO, 1993, the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup, that would be the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, 1986, 1993, the last 2 times Montreal won something.
And Stu and I are not big Canadian fans. Stu and I are Boston guys. We're Bruins.
I like Bruins because that's the biggest rivalry. Montreal and Boston. That's the biggest rivalry. Montreal and Toronto. That's another good one. And Montreal back then with Philly was a good one too.
Oh yeah, the Broad Street
And
Bullies
the Nordiques.
and the
Hockey
Montreal
was
and
different
Nordiques.
then. Hockey was different.
Yeah,
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 hockey was
very
different
much
then.
different.
Well, hockey was like back in the day, and we'll get into wrestling real quick, but hockey was like I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out back in the day.
Yeah.
But Stu, why don't you kick it off with PCO here and talk a little bit about the beginnings, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, we were talking earlier before the show, basically kind of a timeline of your career, where you started training, you kind of first gimmick, the Rougeaus, Quebecers, the pirate gimmick. Basically, just kind of give us a timeline of where you started and kind of where you are now.
Well, before making it to WWE, it took me 8 years. So
Wow.
8 years of that was traveling all over the world, from South Africa to Puerto Rico to Germany, CWA with auto vans, to England for the Brian Dixon All Star Wrestling, um, South Africa for Jackie Coon. Had been like all over the world, like before I met with Jacques Rougeau in Puerto Rico in 1993, and then I was sent out for a tryout, and they called me back and they say, do you want to be a tag team with Jock? And then we became a tag team, and that was 3 times WWE tag team champions, at the time. So it was almost a full year.
Now I want to go back. I want to go back before wrestling. I want to talk about growing up in Canada, obviously French Canadian.
Yeah.
You played other sports growing up
course.
as a teenager and things like that. Talk a bit about the sports that you played, and did you watch wrestling as a kid? Like Stu and I were, we watched WWF every weekend. Did you watch wrestling, and who did you like? Who was one of your favorites growing up?
Yeah. Well, when you grow up in Canada, at 2 years old, you got a pair of skates on your feet.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's just the way. Like, it's pretty much that's how it was. So, 2 3 years old, I started skating. At 4 years old, I my first hockey school. Power skating, skills and things like that, and all the way to my pee wee years, like 11, 12 years old. I was always in hockey school. And so when you get up early in the morning for a 6 a.m. practice, and cable was just on, and then watching some documentary or some replay of some shows, wrestling was always on, and then I got hooked. just waiting for my lift to pick me up to go to the practice, and that was the two sports that basically I had in mind for a career: hockey or pro wrestler. It sounds quite funny, but that's really how I felt.
Who
Now,
was
what
one?
wrestling?
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Chris.
Les.
Go
What
ahead.
wrestling were you watching growing up? Was it Canadian wrestling or was it American wrestling?
It was we had a show on it's like a ESPN TSN here in
Mhm.
Canada. It's the version of ESPN almost, and it was with the head villain who was doing like Stampede Wrestling, but they would come up with a show where they'd have like footage for all the indie federation across the states, and I remember seeing some footage of Sid Vicious when he was he had
Goldie Mask?
yeah, the goalie mask,
Yeah.
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 Lord Humongous.
That's
Yeah.
it. Lord
And I
Humongous.
was like, wow, what a monster. And then that was for Continental Wrestling. And then you'd see Jerry Lawler and Jeff Jarrett in Memphis, Tennessee, and then you'd see Devon Eriks in Texis, and it was like that. I didn't know, like, we had a glimpse of every territory, so to speak. So I remember too, we had on TSN from the Showboat, we had the ending of the AWA.
AWA. Yeah.
Vern
I was a
Gagnon, yes.
big fan of the Rockers, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels back then. Yeah,
Wow.
but my biggest idol, or yeah, I would say idol because when we every morning when we got to the school, we opened up the newspaper. We went to the sports section, and it was always a wrestling hat because every Monday at Paul Sauvé Arena in Montreal, either Dino Bravo or Rick Martel were the top guys here as far as single wrestlers. And they would defend against Ric Flair, Billy Robinson, and if it was also Haku came in for 4 or 5 years in a row. He was one of the biggest star in Montreal under the name of King Tonga. Also, you had like the Samoans, Fatu and Samu, the head drinkers, but they weren't. They were just like, let's say Fatu was called Polynesian Prince. He was 240 pounds. He looks just like Tonga Kid. We thought it was Tonga Kid, but it was like his cousin. And Samu was like at 21 years old. He was challenging Bravo for the world title here in Montreal. So, but the biggest thing that happened that drew a lot of money was the Road Warriors when they came in, and they would put the Martel and Bravo as a team, or Bravo and King Tonga against the Road Warriors, and they were selling out all the time. The Forum, the Road Warriors. So that was as far as Warriors, the Road Warriors were my favorites, and then it was Martel, Bravo, the Rougeau brothers. They had some great feuds with the Garvins in Montreal. So they sold out to the Montreal Forum against Jimmy and
Ronnie?
Ron Garvin. Yeah.
Ronnie, yeah, yeah.
Well, we got some.
Sorry, Les, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Good.
The Road Warriors, was that before their AWA entrance and with Paul Ellering, or was that where they
That
really...
was Black Sabbath. Oh, boom, down, now, 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 now.
Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
Yeah, Iron Man. Yeah, yeah.
But
Gotta
they were
love it.
the bikers with the hats before they went to AWA.
No, they weren't the bikers. They had they had the spikes, not the football pads yet.
Well, guys,
But
I just want to let you know.
They had the spikes, the long spikes on the
On the shoulders.
vest,
Yeah, yeah.
and they look like the movie Mad Max.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we got. I
And
just
they
want to let
were
you.
big, and they were strong, and they weren't so. You could never say they were great workers. They were just drawing people by just being there. You know, the presence, the physiques, the makeup. They were almost one of the first guys to wear makeup. I might be wrong, but
No, I was thinking the same exact thing.
they were the first ones to wear makeup, like in a way where it looks cool, it looks sharp, it looks good, not like Great Kabuki or something like that. It was different makeup where it was
Tradition, Kendo Nagasaki. Yeah.
yeah. So it was different than that. It was not just all the face red or all the face green. It was designs and blades and things
the spider web on the animal. That was, I mean, I remember that when I was a kid.
So that really grew on me as far as like my imagination of becoming a pro wrestler.
Well, we got a lot of comments out here, and we got some questions, so I've got to throw them out. We got a nice live audience for you, PCO. So I'm going to run a couple of these to you right now. So let's go with GMC. My boy Gary McNeil out in Maryland says, what kind of workouts did you have to do to keep in wrestling shape? So maybe when you're on the road, when you're wrestling, what type of workouts do you do to keep in wrestling shape?
Well, now it was not always like that, but plyometrics, it's something that I like to use. Explosion, and I feel like if you keep your strengths, you keep like good strengths in your legs and your uh, buttock, whatever.
Yeah, your core, basically.
Yeah, the core, but also like the
Your ass. You can say it on cable.
yeah. I would say like the English guys say the arse.
The
Arse.
arse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that there's a lot of things happening there from the ass and the legs and the quads and the hamstring and all that. So I think that's very important. That's something that I really have taken care of. And also I like to do like also a circuit like where I do as many sets and exercise as possible as fast as possible.
By the
Just to
way,
keep
I did plyometrics in 2001 to get ready for hockey season, and I ruptured my Achilles tendon. So that was the end of plyometrics for me. A good question here coming from Martin Swartz. If the name rings a bell, that would be my brother. And happy early birthday, Marty. I know he turns 57 tomorrow, so we'll be giving you a quick call on that. And Marty said, do you like the mega drama of today's events, or should they just get more into action?
well, in other words, is it too much talking?
Yeah,
or-
is it too much over the top drama, or do you just
I've
like,
been
let's get in and
hearing-
wrestle?
the talking? I've been hearing like a lot of complaints about that for a long time.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's the WWE standards, and I think when you got a 20-minute promo in the ring, I think it's too much. I think it's draining people for nothing. I know they want to tell story. I heard Vince McMahon talking about that, but I'm all in favor for more action.
Gotcha. Well, here's a great question from Rob. Rob, you shocked me with this one. What prompted you to transition from tag teams to single competition wrestling? Because you were so successful as a tag team wrestler.
Well, everybody has to do it. If you look at Shawn Michaels, the Rockers or the Midnight Rockers, they were at one point my favorite tag teams, or Rick Martel and Tom Zink. But if you want to go to the Intercontinental title or the World title, eventually you have to break out, no matter what. So you can't. I mean, I think the Road Warriors, they're the only one that never tried to go in a single run.
Right.
But if you look at all the other tag teams, it was always a breakthrough for one of the two,
Barry Smith, 3-time tag team champ, says it all. Which do you prefer? And I'm wondering, do you prefer tag team or do you prefer to be in individual competition?
I like tag team a lot,
Okay.
but like tag teams is going to bring you to the middle of the card. It's not going to bring you to the top. So that's the only thing that, unless, you're the Road Warriors, maybe sometimes, but they were main eventing a lot of places. They were really, really special though. It's you see that once in a lifetime. I don't recall seeing any other teams that could be placed, in a main event status for a night.
Real quick Road Warriors story. I was at the Superdome for the first Crockett Cup, and I'll never forget. We were standing in, waiting to get in, and it was like the sea opened up, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. And what it was the Road Warriors just coming in the main entrance where the fans came in their jeans, a little bit of face paint, and their do-rags. Literally, the fans just parted their ways and they literally just walked in like they were gods. It was incredible. I had never seen it. Even now, I get like these goosebumps. I had never seen anything. I've been a wrestling fan since I was 10 years old, and I was taking pictures at the time, and I never saw anything like that, even live. Like I've seen Hogan, Andre, like literally the crowd parted.
Yeah. It was they were really special.
They were intimidating is what they were. I have a question from Rob. Is there one particular match that stands out as the toughest you've ever had? And you've had a long career, individual, single, singles, tag teams. Is there one that was it a WrestleMania match? Is there something that stands out as your toughest match?
My
or most memorable?
most memorable match, I got a few, but the one with Bret, me and Bret Hart
Wow.
in your house 3 on the pay-per-view WWE. That's it was cool too because Bret put it on his he made a DVD of his wrestling matches, favorite. I think it's 10 of his favorite matches during his career, and he chose our match to be on there. So as a powerhouse match. So
So
uh,
were you above Davey and Brett or below?
was that?
Were you above the Davey Boy Smith and Brett match or below that match on that list?
Davey and oh no, that was a hell of a match.
That was
The thing is,
incredible.
like 90,000 people helps make a good match too. You
Sure.
know, so I think they were above me and Brett, but Davey and Brett, they were above my match with Brett. But people are still talking about that match, me and Brett, and me stealing Brett's jacket and all those things that I did with Brett. I had a long 3 to 4 month feud with Brett.
Well, here's a great question that I think a lot of people are really curious about. And I know, Stu, you know a lot about the lifestyle of being a wrestler as well. But Barry Smith asks, what's family life like? And to compound that question or expound upon it is what's like wrestling on the road? And tell everyone out there how difficult, you're away from home, you're traveling city to city. How many days a year are you wrestling? And how difficult is that?
And that's the job. Actually, the job is there. It's not wrestling 15 to 20 minutes 4 or 5 times a week or 3 times a week. That's not what it's tough really. It's all the traveling, not being at home. Like just in the last 2 weeks, I went to Ireland just for 2 days. So I had to travel there, go there, wrestle there twice, come back home. And I went to Australia for two days and came back. So I did, just for Australia, it was 48 hours of flying in less than a week. Plus, I was 16 hours ahead of the time here. So
Wow.
I was in the future, and I came back, on the real time. So it was pretty a good run. It's pretty tough.
Well, my brother wants to ask, what's the biggest mishap that has happened to you in the ring? Like a real injury, something that just went wrong that was not supposed to be. I mean, something that was just not forecast. Anything like that?
No, not really. I can't really recall anything that bad.
Okay.
No, other than like tearing an ACL. That's something that happened
Okay.
once during a match, and that was against Vader. And I was telling him like, I can't walk no more. I just pulled my ligament, and he kept doing the stuff on me.
Oh boy.
Wanted to get his finish in, but no. I mean, sometimes, but I didn't have to respond. But back in the day, sometimes somebody could shoot on you just to test you. It did happen when I was a kid, though. Like when I was 16, I would get pretty messed up, by the older guys. They were taking liberties on the kids.
Wow.
But that's how you grew in the business. That's how they were looking at us to see, okay, is they there just to understand this business, or they're really there because they're want to make it in this business, and didn't want nobody to just try to see what the kayfabe was, so to speak.
Well, I have a question for you, and I've always wanted to know this, and Stu and I do talk about this offline a lot. If you had to put money on a wrestler, either back in the day or now, for real, who's the toughest guy? Like, I mean, I'm talking street brawl. You want to put your money on somebody. Who is feared? Maybe name a couple of guys who are feared is a real tough guy.
I mean,
besides you.
No. Brock Lesnar, I would put my money on him anytime. He's a UFC world
Right.
heavyweight champ. So for sure, Brock is one. And also you saw him with Strowman, Braun Strowman. When someone went too far with a knee, caught him on the jaw, he would like right away, snap him with a punch, and he was like, yeah, he was not out, but he could have been out if Brock, kept punching. Um Also, the stories. Everybody knows the story about King Tonga, Haku.
Yep.
Aku, that's my. Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Yeah, I mean, he's
So that
notorious.
would have been the number one, but everybody says this guy because there was a lot of witnesses that saw what he could do, and the Giant too was like a guy who would like to pick a fight sometime.
Did you ever
And
wrestle Andre the Giant at all?
no, he died when I got. He died in '92 or
Okay.
'93, and I just got there in '93.
Okay.
So yeah, I missed him. I missed Bravo. Died in '92. I made it in '93. So at least I got to know Rick Martel pretty well. Uh, and he came back. He came back for a while in WWE as a model, and then he went to WCW and became the TV champion WCW, and then he got injured.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We got some great questions, too, real quick. We got some great
Yeah.
questions out there. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming Ivan Koloff Memorial Tag Team Tournament, which is going to be held on the 29th of March at Clayton Fitness Center at Clayton, North Carolina. Yours truly, the wizard, the man behind the scene, Tony, we are going to be there live doing post and pre-match interviews. So let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back with more PCO, my special guest, and my special co-host, Stuart Kaplan, my wrestling insider. We'll be doing that right after this.
Jim's Pawn and Gun Shop, located at 4212 Oleander Drive, Wilmington's #1 firearms dealer. Sporting a large inventory, including all brands of handguns and long guns, a full stock of accessories, and all types of ammunition, Jim's Pawn and Gun Shop has it all, including the best customer service in the area.
Before the lights go out, call Wilmington Generators. We offer the lowest price and a 10-year warranty for all Briggs & Stratton installations. A Briggs & Stratton powers more of your home for less money. Call for a free quote. Wilmington Generators. We play with power.
Welcome back to Swartz Talking Sports. I'm your host, L. Steven Swartz, but you can call me Les. The man on the far right is my special co-host tonight, my wrestling insider from Boston, Massachusetts, Stuart Kaplan. And the guy in the middle is unrecognizable to you wrestling fans. He is the one and only PCO. So
Not enough scars.
Hey, listen, I saw you in person. You scared the heck out of me in an interview, that's for sure. So, Stu, let's get into this, the upcoming Ivan Koloff Memorial Tag Team Tournament being held on the 29th of March in Clayton, Missouri at the Clayton Fitness Center. Yours truly will be there. Let's get into this a little bit.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Well,
Card itself?
I want to get into, am I going to see PCO? PCO, are we going to see you at this tournament? Because I heard you were going to make an appearance there.
Yeah, I was scheduled to face Shane Douglas for the #1 contender for the NCW championship, and also it was really important for me to be there because to pay tribute to Ivan Koloff and the tournament, and it's quite a big deal in North Carolina. And I wish I could have been there, but Matt Houston wanted me to be there. Matt Houston knows what I can do, but I guess Lewis Moore, the promoter, he pulled me out of the tournament because I think he was afraid that I could do something like I did with GCW at the Hammerstein Ballroom, where I smashed the digital media title with a sledgehammer. And he thought that maybe if I get too close to this championship, I might just break it down, you know. So he pulled me out, and I heard through the grapevines over there that Lewis Moore was a decent wrestler, was a guy that had no fear, that he was willing to go in the ring and face anybody, anytime, anywhere. And if he still had, if he still has a little bit of guts, a little bit of
Balls, baby.
balls, why don't you face Perfect Creation 1 PCO 1-on-1 in NCW?
Well, I think it would be DOA would be what it would be if he did.
I'm sure he can regroup, and he can train a little bit, and he can do a little bit of a comeback and prepare for PCO and facing the monsters. And we'll see how it goes for him, you know.
Well,
maybe he could be lucky.
nah, you know something? If I'm a betting man, PCO, I'm not betting on Lewis Moore. Now, listen, he's my commissioner, okay? He tells me what
He's
to
not
say
your
and what
friend,
to do.
I thought he was your friend.
He's my friend, but I've got to say, I've seen some of your matches on television. Stu has showed me some of these things, and you're quite terrifying. I'd like to know, are some of the people out there too want to know the French Canadian Frankenstein? What, I know that's the moniker. How did it get started? Did you come up with that? Was that given to you by somebody?
It all started in 2018 at WrestleMania 34 at the Joey Janela Spring Break 2. I was put against Gunther Walter, one of the most memorable match in pro wrestling history. Seriously, I was there on that show, and just something special that happened that night. It was like Rocky Four. Seriously, a lot of people will go on with that analogy, and they will use that that moniker or something like that. That it happened. Like I've heard Sami Zayn saying something like that. I've heard a lot of guys saying something like that. But for me, when I was there for the first 5 to 7 minutes of the match, it was cold ice. And by the time we start exchanging shots, me and Walter, Gunter, whatever, uh, and I've started hitting some of my like set move, like my sprig-legged moonsault, my tope over the top rope, my moonsault from the top rope to the outside, all those moves, and then Walter started going like being like the tough guy that he is and the big hands that he has and everything like that. We tore the house down, starting from ice to tearing the roof off of the place. Those people that came on glue, they were off the charts, crazy. Uh, it was a hell of a night. So everybody that night, the day after, everywhere was the resurrection of PCO. And as everybody was calling for my resurrection in pro wrestling, I meet this guy that is my manager, D Destro, and he's a big fan of monsters movies. He's from Massachusetts, actually.
Okay.
He was born in Boston, and now he lives in Quebec, and we live in the same town. So we hooked up because he's the world's strongest man with his hands in the world.
Oh, wow.
So he's got the strongest hands in the world. And we started to do like he showed me how to do like train me for feats of strength. So we started doing that, and we did introduce the resurrection with the electricity, as he picked me up in the cemetery where I was dead and loaded me up on his shoulder, brought me to an old laboratory, and just put the car battery with cable booster jumpers and just put the current on me, and I woke up. And so it was on the real life, and it was on also on the character side. It was a resurrection. So I thought it worked both ways, and that's what made it so successful.
Stu, has anybody ever used a car battery on you?
No, and kind of glad they didn't. But
No, hold on, PCO. I got to tell a quick story about the guy over here to your right. Now, he didn't use car batteries. What he did was he would get out of a car on the highway and challenge somebody for cutting him off on the highway and try to beat the guy up and take him out of the car, which has happened on more than one occasion. And
you're embarrassing
unfortunately,
me. Come on, I was a young kid then.
And I was there, unfortunately.
No, but PCO, my question for you, from my aspect is in wrestling where I trained with Killer Kowalski. I've been in the ring. I've done all these moves, standing at the top. When you're on the top rope looking down, you can't explain to somebody that doesn't know being in the ring what it's like to look down to the floor. It's high. And I see you, and I followed you, your career. I followed you, TNA. Some of these moves that you do, I don't understand what's going through your mind when you're doing them. I'm your age. You're a little younger than me, but some of these moves, even diving through the ropes, people don't understand how hard that is. You catch your foot on that rope going through, you're done.
Yeah.
You know, people have done it. You know,
Yeah. Well,
people have done it.
I've been thrown down at the stage of 12 feet high, down to the cement floor. I've done. I got power bombed from the ring by the Tonga brothers. Actually, the Haku's brother, the Tama, the Bloodline, and Tongoloa.
Gorillas of Destiny. Yeah, Gorillas of Destiny. Yes.
Yeah. It was at the Madison Square Garden. It was sold out for ROH and
Tama Tonga Tongaloa. Yeah.
the G1 tournament, right?
Yeah.
So they power bombed me from inside the ring. They double power bombed me from inside the ring to the outside, and I sat up and I glitched up, and then I went back down. But the pop in the crowd was unbelievable. People really they went, "Holy crap!" They couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So it's just that that's why I'm challenging Lewis. It's just I'm willing to do basically anything in order to get a win. I don't care if I have to use my body as a weapon. That's what I do, and I go out there and just give it all out there. I just leave it all in the ring.
So you're not thinking about the next day,
No, every night it's like it's the last night.
Yeah.
I approach it like that, like a hockey game.
Yeah, and that's what gets the pop.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question for both of you. I'll go to PCO first, and then Stuart, I'm going to give you as well. K-Mac, and I'm not sure, he might be a friend of somebody out there. There are not many managers anymore. Do you think wrestling could use more managers? AKA, when I grew up, guys, it was the Grand Wizard. It was the Captain Lou Albano. It was Classy Freddie Blassie, you pencil neck geek, right? Could wrestling use more managers?
I think so. I think it depends how they want to use them, and but I think even with Paul Bearer, I think that was great. I think that worked out perfectly. They used Fuji for Yokozuna. Yeah, I mean, I got a manager. It's just hard. If it was WWE or AEW, they would, because every time that I spoke with AEW and they would bring me in for something, but I couldn't because I was under contract with TNA or something. They always wanted to bring my manager with me. Always. They will always ask Destro to be there. Because he's got a look like he's got a movie look. You see his face, and you can never find another face like that in the world. There's nothing that looks close to it. Like maybe the closest look, but it's not even close. But it's like someone like Machete. This guy that played Machete.
Oh my God! I got Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
The closest character to my manager. Yeah.
And he's all of 5'5". He's a tiny guy.
My manager tiny. Too. 130 pounds, but
he's tiny. Yeah, but boy, did he have a bravado about him. Oh.
Yeah, and everybody's afraid of him because he's straight out of jail, right?
Yeah.
So,
And the tattoos didn't hurt either.
yeah.
Well, I just want to let PCO know this. I just got a text from promoter Lewis Moore,
Oh, yeah?
who challenges you, and he says, "You get in the ring with him, there's going to be a serious power outage." That's what he said. He said the
For
French
sure.
Canadian Frankenstein will suffer a serious power outage. He said, anytime, any place in
I think
North
the power outage would be
Carolina.
in his pants.
I'm just telling you, that's strictly from the promoter Lewis Moore. He's not scared of you, PCO.
It's
He
all right.
wants you.
Like, why do you think Matt Houston wanted to put me in the #1 challenger? Because he sees me as his champion. Like, he sees me as the champion of the NCW. So if Lewis Moore thinks he's going to get in my way of getting another championship, well, he's in for a hell of a ride to hell.
Well, I was going to say, you. First of all, Brian Clark. I think you know Brian. My
Oh,
brother
of course.
PCO. Much love, my friend. The monster is real.
Where did you get Brian to get on the show?
I don't know. He's on. We also
He's
got.
awesome.
Yeah, we've got. I mean, we've got so many. It's incredible. We got a lot of
Do
questions for you.
you know Brian Clark, Chronics and WCW, Atom Bomb?
Adam Bomb, WWF. Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Ah, all right, Brian. Welcome to Sports Talking Sports. We appreciate you being
Yeah.
on here tonight. This is
Also,
fantastic.
he's a military, so he's
Tough
He's-
guy.
done a lot of work for this country.
Well, I tell you, thank you again, Brian, for coming on. I appreciate it. All right, PCO, we're going to be wrapping it up here. Again, I know you're not going to be here for the 29th. I also, man, I'll tell you, the promoter, Lewis, is hitting me up here right now, and he's telling me that because I am now a member of NCWA, I've got to back him. I cannot be with PCO. He said, you got to back me. I'm just telling you what he said. And listen, listen, you know me, Stu. You know me. I'm not a confrontational guy, right? But I take orders.
I know a few good healthcare plans, Les, if you're going to go
Yeah,
in.
it's pretty
Backing
confusing.
Lewis against
don't know,
PCO.
yeah,
I wouldn't go against him.
Yeah, things are getting confusing now. I don't get it, but I thought me and you were good friends, Les. You know, we got the hockey bond going.
We do. But you know something? I got to say this, PCO. You know, friendship, right? But you know, business is business, right?
Oh, if he pays you for it, like, too bad for you.
Yeah.
I'm telling
It's
you.
a long drop from the top of the ring.
I've never been power bombed before. Not that I'm
know?
looking to.
Yeah, you're not going to get up. There's no battery that's got no interstate that's going to.
When you look at PCO on the top rope from the ring mat, and you see, how this thing is going to turn up in the air, I don't know how. And then when you get hit by it, you know,
It's not fun.
Yeah, it's like
I wouldn't even categorize it as
like
that.
an airplane crashing on you.
Oh man. Well, listen.
747.
I cannot. Well, listen. Let's not talk airplane crashes. I'm flying Friday to Chicago, and with the latest things that are going on with airports, I'm a little nervous. I'm just going to tell you. Listen, I got to thank you. I know you're so busy. You're doing so much. You're traveling. So I want to thank you so much for taking time. First of all, to come on. I know it's after 8 o'clock. You're in French Canadian Canada, right? I love it. You got that accent. Like it sounds like Patrice Bergeron, Stu. I mean, he sounds like Patrice.
Any hockey player.
I know. No, it's honestly, it's been a treat. I think you're awesome.
I hope I sound better than George St. Pierre at least.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, George Rush. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every other
I
word.
think he's the worst. He's the worst. No.
Every other word you get, and you got to put a sentence together.
I know. It's like he's doing a commercial for Labatt's Brewery. It's unbelievable. But listen,
yeah, Molten Golden.
I had a great time, meeting you at Strive to Survive. We did. We had that hockey bond thing going. It was awesome. You're a Habs guy. I'm a Bruins guy, but I think we both appreciate it. And when you get to NCWA, when you do go for that title with Lewis Moore, the promoter.
Yeah, and you're backing him up.
Listen, I want to be there at the end of everything. We shake hands.
I'm back in PCO.
And Tony, the producer's like, I'm back in PCO. No one's helping me out here. But at the end of it, we shake hands, right?
Where's Stu's gonna be?
Yeah, I'm going to come down. I want to see Les get his butt kicked.
We got to get Stu. We got to get Stu down here. We definitely got to get Stu. But hey, PCO, at the end, we shake hands, right?
Yeah, just like when we won the Stanley Cup. We always shook hands.
That's right. You battle for 7 games. You're
only
bloody.
sport
You
that
shake
does it.
hands.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, listen.
Good sportsmanship.
Listen,
That's it.
I definitely want to have you on again. You got a great following. My regular viewers loved you. They had some great questions for you today, so I'd love to have you come back. Before you come to face Lewis Moore, I want you back on to promote that one.
All right, let's do one more.
All right, let's do one more. Stu, listen, thank you for coming on. You got to get your butt down here.
I know. You keep saying it. I got to get down there. Maybe for this show, I will. I'll be right behind PCO. I'm saying it right now.
No one's backing me.
You're my cousin, Les. You're my boy, but I'm telling you. Sorry.
I thought blood is thicker than water. Or is it blood just going to fall? Is that what it is?
Well, you just set yourself up perfectly for that because there's going to be a lot of it. It ain't going to be from him.
Oh, God. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you so much. I appreciate all the questions and the comments out there. Thank you again. PCO, have a fantastic weekend. Go Habs. Stu, we'll be talking tomorrow, and I will be right back after this. And a special thanks to everyone out there for contributing to tonight's show.
Thank you, PCO. Awesome.
Well, have a blast. Great energy. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
I hope so.
High Tide Chiropractic, located in Leland, North Carolina, off Village Road. Dr. Levi Bradburn and his team specialize not only on spinal and extremities care, but also focus on sports injuries and a variety of chronic ailments. Treatment plans may include diet and lifestyle behavioral modification to achieve optimal health. Call us to schedule your free consultation, and we will design a personalized program to meet your needs. It's time to get the results you deserve.
Hi, and welcome to Swartz Talking Sports. I'm your host, L. Steven Swartz, right there in yellow. Les, are we okay, Tone? We're good. We're good? Okay. Again, thank you, everybody. Theme show tonight. Had a great time. PCO is an awesome guy. I got a chance to meet him. We did bond over hockey and sports, and he's a great guy. But, I don't know. The promoter says, do what you got to do. So he pays me. I got to back his play. So that's the way it is. Anyway, special thanks to Stu Kaplan for coming on from Boston. I know Stu's my wrestling insider. We both share the wrestling history there. I know Tony appreciates that. And special thanks to all those people that came out to check out tonight's show. Brian Clark, K-Mac, thank you so much for jumping on Swartz Talking Sports tonight. Hey, tomorrow, Thursday, Bob Hayes Invitational Hall of Fame Gala, our man, Al Chester, being honored. So congratulations, Al, from all of us here again at Swartz Talking Sports. We are so proud and honored for you to be the recipient of that award. We can't wait to get you back on. Again, next week, we got March Madness starting, so my hope is that we're going to get the coach, Phil Martelli, and Steve Stefano back on sometime next week. Coach is doing some NIT games for ESPN, so we might have to pre-tape something, run it. And also, the CAA commissioner, Joe D'Antonio, has agreed to come on and talk a little bit about who UNCW is going to be playing and some changes in their conference format as well. So we'll be doing that next week. Check out some of our shorts. Again, if this is your first time watching Swartz Talking Sports, please hit that subscribe button, comment, let us know how you like the show. Hey, listen, I love this wrestling angle. I'd love to bring on more wrestlers, so let's do it bigger and better each time. Again, special thanks to PCO, the French-Canadian Frankenstein, Sort Kaplan, my insider, for Joni, who couldn't be here tonight, my amazing chat girl, I'll see you soon, and for my producer, the wizard, Tony Smeraldi. This is Les Swartz saying, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week.